Alright, so it's been nearly 1 year since last time I did this, which is crazy because I thought I would do this a lot more. So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna work this out again and keep on trying to do this more often. Um, a lot's happened since that last recording. Um, a lot. Divorce happened. Um, that's a little bit over 6 months ago now. Um, Still here, surviving that. Um, I went through a lot 6 months before that too. Um, Ex's dad passing away, crazy Christmas stuff that happened, stuff over the new year, and all of it just brought me closer to God. Like, I've grown so much since then. I'm still struggling with some of the same stuff since then too. Some of it that I've gotten over, and some of it came roaring back. I feel like I regressed a little bit. Um, I think last time I talked about the fact that I was struggling with like seeing couples on TV or just seeing couples in general when I went out. Um, and that's kind of came back. I was actually fine and I wasn't having an issue with it at all. And then it came roaring back in this past month actually. Um, it's been pretty bad. And I don't know exactly why they came back. Um, but it's okay. Like, God has me every step of the way on that. And that's another thing that I've had ebbs and flows with a lot of different like struggles and issues. But one thing that I know how I'm in the right spot is that I don't go to anything else but God. I don't have any real vices right now at all. It's not like I really had that many before, but like it's not even a question for me. The second I have an issue or something struggling emotionally, the first thought I think about is I have to take this to God. I have to give it to Him. He'll understand me. I understand that He understands me. I used to battle with that a little bit. I still kind of battle with that a little bit. I don't really question God. I have no problem with obedience. I prayed prayers I probably shouldn't have prayed, to be honest with you. I'm like, Lord, if you wanted me to stay single for the rest of my life just so that my children have great marriages, if that's what my destiny is, please do that. Please don't take me away from it. Please don't make me hide from it. Give me the strength to do it. Stuff like that I probably shouldn't be praying. um, Realizing more and more over this year just how He's built me. Um, like I've always had like an idea of how God's built me, but like the amount of challenges that I've been through, the amount of ways that my attributes have been challenged, I am so humbled every day by the mere fact that I am blessed with so many attributes, but none of it's me. Like, I can't even blink without God letting me blink. I can't say the next word without God letting me say the next word. I can't literally think the next thought without God letting me do that. It's all him. 100%. Like, I don't like being one of those people who literally walks to this room and people are like, what can't he do? I actually don't like it. And that's probably odd for people to think about, but from the other side of me, that's me, it's like, I don't want to let anyone down. And I usually don't. It's really hard to perform at that level all the time. You constantly just don't let anyone down. And you're not even. Sometimes, I hate to say this, but some days I don't even feel like I'm trying. Like, I just walk into a room, I do what I'm supposed to do, and that's it. It's an expectation for me. It's an expectation that I do that well. And I get mad at myself when I see all the little faults, and most people don't even see them. I'll be performing at a decent to high level all the time, but all I can see is you missed that. That was 4 minutes versus 5. You got to get that back down to 4 minutes. You got to do, like, that's what I see. That's what goes on in my head. But I'm so stoic on the outside that people don't see it. But, like, my heart is racing, my mind is racing, my blood pressure is going all over the place. You probably wouldn't believe it if you saw the numbers. So, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you keep on going? How do you keep on striving? How do you keep on performing at such a high level? It's expected of me. I expect myself to do that. I don't really know how else to be. Like, I still struggle with so many things. But it's exactly how God built me. That's one thing I know for sure. Like, yeah, I struggle with this or I struggle with that, but it's how He built me. He built me to do these things, all these things. It's sometimes crazy for me to think about. And I was listening to a sermon the other day, and I forget who the pastor was, but she said, you're here for a reason. God knew each and every one of your souls, and He put you in this time because He had a purpose for you. Your time is this time. You weren't mistakenly put in the wrong time. You were supposed to be here in this time, at this point. Like, that's amazing to me. What's also amazing to me is the free will that we have. I mean, you'll probably hear to me call it as ultimate free will. Some people refer to it. I also hear the world referred to as, chaos theory. The fact that something that you do over here can affect something over there without the two even knowing who they are. But God talks about this all the time in the Bible. Like, it's, you're not in a bubble. Like, what you do does affect other people. It ripples. It goes through everything. And we are all connected. So, like, I just, don't, for me it's different. Like, people have like this crazy story about, like, their story about how God saved them from this or how God saved them from that. I have been a Christian for the majority of my life, over 30 years. I was a Christian at a very young age, and I've just stayed there on that path. I was reading my yearbook the other day, like one of my yearbooks the other day, actually, like the 3 out of 3 of the yearbooks that I have, and the amount of comments about me just being kind and the fact that I'm still that way now, 25 years later, that I'm still like that kind of a person is just amazing to me because so many things have happened. So many things that have happened that could have made me so bitter, so nasty, so. But they haven't. But that's God. It's not me. Like, God's built me a certain way, but I'm very sensitive to His word. I'm very sensitive to His voice. I fiend for His correction. I want to make Him proud. I want to have a heart after God. And I've asked God this, like, and I've told Him this. Like, it's funny because I tell you about my prayers I shouldn't pray. I want to have a heart after you, like David did, but I don't want to be an adulterer. Like, if that caused me to do that, I don't want to do that. But I realize that they do not code. You do not have to have a heart after that to do that. Like, it's just funny because like people talk about that, but they don't talk about like the bad things that happen, all the bad things those people do, as well as the good. Like, we have so many righteous people in the Bible, but those people also did like horrid things. And I don't want to have done something horrid to be righteous. If that makes sense. We've all struggled with things. I think my biggest struggle, honestly, is just like self-esteem. Like, not that I don't have it, it's just different for me. Like, I have self-esteem because there's parts of me that are just very like. Let me give you an example. I've talked about this with like a few people. The ability to like just not be afraid. The ability to just do something just as it's like you see everybody else running and you're like, why is everybody else running? You need to be able to think clearly. There's a disaster going on. Stop, walk, go. And that's what I do. I just stop, I walk, and I go. Everybody else could be running. And I'll be the one that's walking. But it's just a mindset thing for me. And it's always been like that for me. It's been like that for me as long as I can remember. I'm like, why complain when everybody else is complaining? Let's stop and solve the problem. Don't say anything that's not going to contribute to it. Don't add to complaints. Just do it. And that's what I do. Like, I do realize that I have been gifted with a strong mind. Like, and I really try to keep it that way. I don't put myself in situations where my mind can be weakened. I don't expose myself to things that will shape my mind. I'm not the most. It's not that I remember scriptures or anything like that. I'm gonna be honest with you about that too. Like, I read my Bible, I remember scriptures, but I can't recite scriptures verbatim. Sometimes it's really not like that for me. For me, it's more I remember the concept of the scripture and can translate it into a way that someone else can understand it. And that's simply it for me. So when I talk to people about God, I'll talk to them in a way that I'll remember the scripture, and then I talk to them about it on that level. I figure out what they need to hear, and then that's it. I just speak the scripture in their language, which is insane sometimes. It's so easy for me to do. Um, on a personal level, like I can do it one on one, and it's not even like a thing for me, which is weird because I can barely look at myself when I'm talking right now. So how can I do that? Like, right? And how can I do it at such a level where it just happens? But it does. So I'm gonna try to do this more often, where I just talk it out. I've been going through a lot of different things, and my weeks have been up and down. But only reason I'm struggling is because I don't see myself the way God sees me, the way other people see me, the way the majority of people see me. I probably see myself the way one person sees me other than myself. I struggle with that because it shouldn't be that way. Like, the one person I should see myself like is God, and that one person should matter more than anyone else is God. That's how it should be. I'm trying my best to get there. I realize that that's where I need to be. I'm way healthier than I was. I'm growing in such a way that I understand so many more things than I did before. Recapturing things I already knew, bringing them back. Like, he's really started me over. And it's so interesting to see how he's started me over. And yeah, I feel like, well, I gotta get this one right because I don't have much time. But do I or don't I? Right? It's amazing. So I'm gonna leave this here, and hopefully in the next couple of days we'll have another talk. Talk to you later.